Okay, I want to move on to another area that the government has been pushed on, which is the environment. Number of different points, whether that's actually going to be on fuel economies, do we look at electrification of aircraft, and noise. And Colin, if I could start with you with the noise issue, because you've been familiar with making those very noisy engines for so many years.
Those very quiet engines.
Those very quiet, noisy engines. What should be happening with that? And we're talking about the third runway at Heathrow, and there's all the fuss about the noise there. And what's your feeling on that one?
Well, I told Alan on the phone last week that I think Paul was there a couple of years ago. I was in the House of Parliament. We were talking about Heathrow 3, and I pointed out the best place to put the runway was actually on the embankment, on the grounds that with the traffic noise and trains going past, you wouldn't hear the aeroplanes. And that's genuinely true. Noise is a very complex subject. If you've got background noise, then you don't hear quieter noises that are quieter. So one of the problems of putting aircraft in the countryside is you hear them over the sparrows, stick them in the town and you won't hear them. And I bet no one's heard an aeroplane go into either Docklands or Heathrow while we've been sitting here, albeit we're next to a railway line. So noise is a complex topic, and there comes a point where you don't need to do much more. And from a personal point of view, I suspect the latest aeroplanes out of Airbus and Boeing are at a point where it would sort of be daft to try and go any further on noise. And the reason I say that is because there is always a compromise in aerospace. If you make the aircraft quieter, you will probably make it slower or less fuel efficient, because you've got to get the balances right. As Heathrow 3 comes in, Terminal 3, Runway 3 comes in, what we'll do is we'll get the more modern aircraft much bigger dilution, and the older aircraft will start going, and people just genuinely won't notice the more modern aircraft. And if you ever I'm a rugby enthusiast, and when you sit at Twickenham and you see the A380 come in, you can't hear it. You can hear the old planes, but not the modern ones. On the environment stuff, I mean, we just have to work it. One of the climate change, in my view, is happening. You're getting increased volatility. It's only Donald Trump doesn't believe it. And the volatility is an issue for aerospace, and we're all going to have to get used to that. And by volatility, extreme weather events are going to become more common. That was modelled 10, 15 years ago, and I think you're beginning to see it. Also, of course, you're now hearing about it a lot more because everyone's got a smartphone. But still, the reality is that civil aerospace is 2.5% CO2 production, which is slightly less than the internet. And that bloody stupid Bitcoin stuff is making the internet even worse. But as you do decarbonise other sectors, aerospace will start to stick out more. More electric, absolutely fundamental to improving the efficiency of aircraft, but the real issue there is you're not going to get a transatlantic electric aeroplane powered by batteries. Batteries are about 100 times less efficient than kerosene. Kerosene's 46 megajoules per kilogram, and a battery's about 100th of that at the moment. Doesn't matter in a Tesla, you don't go very far. But we will electrify aircraft more. We'll get rid of the pneumatics, we'll get rid of the hydraulics, we'll put more high power electrics on it. But you're not going to get an all-electric solution for long-range transport. Short-range, hopping around town, maybe, and you can get a really good solution there. And industry's going to have to invest in it because there are the good advantages for it. But there's no single issue, there's no easy switch to say that 2.5% CO2 we can get rid of. It's just not going to be like that. What we've got to do is try and stabilise that. And if you work maths out, 4 to 5% compound growth per annum. Civil aerospace, typically technology delivers about 1% per annum on fuel burn savings. So we're going to grow at 3%, 4% compound. And I don't see a solution to that unless you create artificial kerosene, which you can do.